Hi, I'm Holly Kastora, a certified Iyengar yoga teacher, living, teaching, practicing yoga in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, Iyengar yoga. And this is Megan, and today we're practicing yoga for fertility of all kinds. This is Janu Sirsasana, a variation. See how, starting in Dandasana, Megan's pelvis is perpendicular to the floor. If it was rounding, rolling back towards the wall behind her, and she was slumping, she would sit on a blanket or two. But she doesn't need to do that because you see how she can move her sacrum in and lift her back ribs up? Yes, so that she's perpendicular to the floor from her head to her hips. So from here, see how she uses her hand to take her inner knee and turn it out and lengthen her groin towards her knee. And her knee is in line with her hip or back slightly, but not forward from her hip. There. So from here, and take your knee back a little further and out to the side. There she goes. So that she's on the top of her ankle, shin, ankle, and foot. Okay, from here she's going to press the back of her right leg down as much as she can into the floor. As long as she doesn't lift that right heel up, she presses the knee down. Okay, now from here, watch, Megan's going to use a belt. Even if you can hold your foot with your hands, you're going to do this stage of Janu, or variation of Janu Sirsasana, where your trunk goes from perpendicular to the floor to like a 60-degree angle. There, so it's not 45, 60. So she's not going halfway towards her foot. She's going about a third of the way. From here, she's going to extend from her inner left thigh to her inner left knee, press her outer thigh and knee down like she did in Baddha Konasana, and then lift her pelvis up in the front until her pelvis is just a little beyond perpendicular to the floor. And she can feel that she's got the back of her pelvic floor on the floor. She hasn't rolled completely to the front of it. And then rolling her shoulders back, she's going to raise her inner upper arms up towards the ceiling to help her lift the sides of her trunk up as well. So she feels like she's in one long line from the pubic bone, or from the tailbone all the way to the base of her skull. She's lifting the front of her spine up. So she doesn't feel like a heaviness in the pelvic floor. It feels light and open. Okay, now this is the next stage of this pose. See how she lets go of the belt, and she takes a blanket folded the long way onto her thigh, and another blanket folded the way it was for Supta Baddha Konasana into that compact shape for her forehead, and she's going to move that bent knee side of her pelvis and abdomen towards the blanket, and then elongate the front of her spine as she bends in half and puts her forehead on her folded arms on the blanket. Okay, now she can use the blanket to elongate the sternum. She can stretch her sternum from the bottom to the top and move it towards her face and away from her abdomen. So there's no compression in the abdomen, which would cause a hardness or a heaviness in the pelvic region. And she's going to let that bent leg side ovary move towards the blanket and that side of her abdomen. So it's soft and supported by the blanket. To come out of this pose, she's going to take her hands next to her hips, keep her head down as she comes up, so she's not throwing her head back to come up. She's keeping the brain cells in this quiet, serene state that was cultivated by Janu Sirsasana.